session. Over the past few years, we've worked with security integrators, guarding companies, and SOC, ROC operators across North America, Europe, APAC, the Middle East, and we have watched them navigate the same questions, the same barriers, and the same opportunities. Everyone knows autonomous drones are the future, but not everyone knows how to package them, price them, operationalize them. Okay, let me check what is happening. Uh, Rudrev, can you please mute? Awesome. Are you able to hear me clearly now, Joseph? Just write yes if possible. I think the noise is gone. So yeah. Uh, Everyone knows autonomous drones are the future, but not everyone knows how to package them, price them, operationalize them, or get customers to see the clear ROI. Today is about giving you the shortcuts, the frameworks, the business logic, and the operational clarity that took years to figure out. So yeah, this session is going to be close to 1 hour, 40 minutes of the content that we're going to show you, and then 20 minutes of quick Q&A. So in the first 15 to 20 minutes, we'll focus on the foundations you absolutely need to get right, which is why are we talking about this now? What is shifting in the security landscape? The mindset shift required when entering autonomous security. Then business frameworks, some of the business frameworks like pricing, packaging, and how do you engage with your current customers that you have. And then beyond visual line of sight timelines. That is the most important part, and then what's realistic in beyond visual line of sight, how to get that, and then how leading providers are designing missions that actually reduce risk. So again, this isn't theoretical, it's based on real deployments, real mistakes, and real learnings, and real outcomes. So after that, we'll dig deeper into operational challenges, compliance, and data security. So yeah, let's begin with why this matters now. Security buyers today don't purchase drones. They don't care about flight time, battery specs, or payload. They purchase outcomes: fewer incidents, safer sites, and measurable efficiency gains. But here's what we see across the industry. Most security providers entering the autonomous drone space struggle with three things, which is proving the ROI clearly and confidently. Like, you need to quantify the value that you are providing to the customer. Because if you don't show them, like every time a new technology comes in, you go, you pitch it to them, but customers will hesitate before buying this. So quantifying the ROI is very important. Then second is designing a repeatable model. So you need structure for that. The first customer is the hardest to get, definitely, but that is where all your learnings will come from. Once you get that first customer, you can implement that structure across. So it's like land and expand. That is how your model is going to look like. And then scaling without increasing, operational complexity. So you can't be successful if every new site means starting from scratch. Again, it's like land and expand. So this is exactly why this discussion is important right now. We're at a point where customers expect clarity, providers need differentiation, and the industry is searching for repeatability. Now, there are multiple types of security sites that where you guys already have deployed your security guards, the foot soldiers, the people with armed patrol cars, right? So within like the deployments that Flightbase has done, we have found that almost all security environments fall into either one of these four buckets. Like either they are perimeter heavy sites, which are going to be your warehouses, your malls, your logistic hubs, where anything can happen at any point of time, especially because every nook and corner is important. Like everywhere there's something important kept. So the challenge here is long distance patrol. Like you can't have security cameras everywhere, and you can't have your security guards also everywhere. Then the second is clustered asset zones like car dealerships or rental yards. So these benefit from, like the quick response and event driven. They are not that big in size, but because there are multiple assets spread across, you need to be quick. Otherwise, a person will go in the car, and if it's a Ferrari, they will drive, and you won't even know. So yeah. Then Hazardous industrial sites, again, like critical assets. These are ONG, utilities, chemical plants. Here, the operations, even getting the permission to fly on top of a flare stack is where you need, like the expertise. So here is where the drones actually replace manned patrols and reduce workers to risk. Like, so reduce the risk of all the workers that are presently there. This is the most important. And then multi-site estates, like, like campuses, colleges. Incidents are a little less, but when it happens, the emotional damage is quite high. So, like, because it usually happens to people over here, it's not an object, but it's people and person who are getting attacked in these kind of areas, which is campuses, gated communities, and all these things. So, this classification right now matters because it will affect how your mission will look like. How are you going to plan the mission in these areas? How you price these services, and then what BV law strategy are you going to choose? Will a 50 feet waiver work for you, or do you need a 200 feet waiver? And then how you justify the ROI, because every single customer is different. Again, I think you guys know it, but every single customer is different. And how do you justify the ROI over there? So getting this right early prevents costly misunderstandings later. Now, let's shift gears from operations to business, because this is where security providers either succeed or stall. The companies that scale aren't the ones with the best hardware, they are the ones with the best business model. So now we have the pricing models for you. So, based on what we have seen across, there are four models that customers understand immediately. So, number one definitely is the proactive one, where you are doing, like, you have contracted them, you are doing night patrols, you are doing perimeter loops, routine surveillance. So, this is usually priced per month. Again, it is something like, you have scheduled missions. There's a pilot sitting at your remote operation center, and then you can just, like, you have to fly 10 flights a day, but those 10 flights can be at any given point of time. And then there is a coverage model, like continuous you are flying for large estates and high risk corridors. Like, you are flying 24 missions a day because the drone takes half an hour to charge, half an hour is for the mission. And then there are two of these systems because, again, you have to cover the site 24/7. So this is the another model. The third one is reactive, based on events, based on triggers from your video management systems, from your sensors that you're using, from security guards. Like, they talk on the walkie talkies and they're like, I saw something on the radio. So they talk on the radio, they're like, I saw something. Now I need my eyes in the sky right now. So that's another model. And then there's a hybrid model, which is common. So you are doing reactive as well, you are doing proactive as well. It is usually for, again, any of these sites can apply. So these structures work because they align with how customers already buy services today. So again, yeah. Now there are now we'll cover the engagement models on how you can engage with the customers over here. So either you provide a full stack security service, or you provide ROC or ROC as a service. So full stack is your turnkey solution where you own the hardware, you own the software part, you are own the insurance, you are just providing them, like, with the data, and you are securing their whole site. This is something which you are doing even now with foot soldiers. You are securing their site, you are covering all the insurance. Similarly, you can do with drones and dogs. The other is definitely like rock as a service, which is your hardware is owned by the customer. You handle all the approvals for them, the flight operations, the reporting, and the all the ongoing services that you have. So this model is growing very fast because it eliminates customers capital expenditure, and now it's converted to an operational expenditure. Like, I'm not talking about rock, I'm talking about full stack service. Because again, whenever people think of implementing a whole new technology within their ecosystem, They are looking like, oh, what all do I have to buy from a hardware perspective? What all do I have to buy from a software perspective? I need to hire pilots as well. I need to hire or make a whole command center internally. I need to get BV loss approvals. Now that you are the one who has taken care of all that already, then this is the point where the customer will start trusting you. Okay, instead of spending $1 million or $2 million right away on hardware procurement, hiring people, and all these stuff, now you can focus on 15K, 10K, 20K a month, depending on whatever services that you're providing. And then you can contract them for a year, 6 months, provide proof of concepts, 2 years, 3 years, like whatever is the best approach for you, whatever is your contract cycle. But this is why the customers need the current security providers to be much more, proactive in all the approach that they're taking. And now the most important part, which is the BV loss modes that matter. Number one is the observer model, where pilot sits in the ROC next to the dock, watches the live feed, approves the launch, takes control if needed. There is always a person on ground who is, looking at the drone constantly. This is like visual line of sight. It's not B, so it's not BV loss. It's just V loss. Again, this is your first step in getting over here. Like if you want a full BV loss, this is what you need to have first. Without this, you won't be able to do you won't be able to go here. So just getting the permission to fly from your CASA, from FAA, or from any other, depending on country, any other authority that gives you waivers. This is the first step. Once after 3 4 months, you show them that you are following all the rules, you are following all the compliances, you are logging every single flight, you haven't had any incidents, then your regulatory body starts trusting you more. And that is when you get to have a shielded BV loss waiver, which is like drone flies only inside a predefined corridor, and then and altitude bands, and like it is like a fully automated patrol, but inside a safe bubble that you have. So it will be based on sites. That is going to be a shielded waiver. Again, once you have this already, once you have the observer mode, the second is the easiest to get approved. This is best for site specific. If you have one customer and you have gotten an approval for them, like let's say it's a mall, you already have approved approval of that mall. That mall company might have multiple other malls within the same city within the country. Then you can amend your waiver and get approvals for different of those sites. Now it's another stage. Once you are able to perform these missions properly, shielded missions properly, log everything, make or gain the trust of your regulatory body, then you come to the full BV loss waiver, which is a countrywide or a nationwide waiver. You can sit anywhere within the country, you can have your team sit anywhere within the country, and you can fly from wherever you want, whenever you want. Of course, there are certain airspaces where you might need approvals from DJI or before flying. This is actually for every single waiver, but for non for a normal airspace, it should not be a problem. You can cover without any issues. And this is actually the hardest to get because now you can fly from wherever you want, whenever you want. It can go beyond 5 kilometers, like 5 miles. 5 miles is close to 8 kilometers. So yeah, around that range, and still you don't have to worry about it. So yeah, this is what I had to cover on my end. Now, I will pass on the stage to Rudrev, who will go over some of the operational frameworks for you. Again, if you guys have any questions, please let us know regarding the business frameworks that I shared before. Once you have taken care of, all those things, like this is the direction, like I'm just saying, this is the direction where you guys need to think. Of course, a 15-minute monologue from me will not is not, like a golden rule. Like, it's not exactly how things will play out. But again, we are here to help you every step of the way, from the learnings that we have had from our deployments. So just reach out, and definitely happy to help. So yeah, I think Rudrev, you can have the stage now.
Thank you, Deep, and very nice to meet everyone who is a part of this webinar today. Let me just share my screen. All right. Okay, so I'll be going over the operational frameworks that we have created based on our observations from different, deployments that we've done across various countries. So, first is how security providers should consider designing their drone missions or drone operations for any particular site. Uh, we feel that there are five questions that should be answered, uh, and those answers to those questions will help you plan out how exactly drones or dogs should be deployed at any particular site. So, first question is, of course, what risk you are trying to reduce. uh, if it's if it's something proactive, for example, you just want to conduct perimeter security and ensure there are no attempts of intrusions at any time, then your missions or your outcome become a perimeter patrolling mission, which is a waypoint mission, for example. If you are in the search and rescue domain, then your missions become different. They become more of a search pattern or a grid mission kind of a thing. And if you're trying to respond to certain situations, then the fastest way is for the drone to just go to that location and start hovering and give you, eyes in the sky as soon as possible. So, answer to this question then dictates the next steps that you take. So, the second question then you need to ask after this is, when does this particular risk increase throughout the day, throughout the week, or even through seasons? Depending on the site, there could be certain areas when there is a lot of footfall, and then there could be certain days when the site is not operational, where in certain, the the risk for certain events can increase. So, knowing when the risk peaks will then define how much coverage you need and what is the timing of the missions that you're going to do. Moving on, the third question that we feel that security providers should answer or they do consider is, what are the blind spots? A lot of our partners, customers have, perhaps the best systems that they can deploy for their facilities, but there are still blind spots, whether it's due to sensory challenges, technical challenges, or just financial considerations. I will go over an example later on where we would be able to see how scaling up even the best of the systems, which are, for example, CCTVs or sensors, might not prove feasible in terms of financial as well as technological uh, perspectives. So, knowing where your blind spots are is vital, because if drones are anything, if they're good at anything, they're good at covering the blind spots that are left by conventional ground-based sensors. Next question that should be considered is how quickly the drone should respond. Uh, Depending on the nature of situation, you might want the drone to be there before the event happens, or you might want the drone to be in the air and be at the site before any ground-based resources uh, reach that location. So this response time would then dictate how much the drone should be in the air, and if the drone needs to respond after the event, how should this be an automated workflow or should this be a manually intervened workflow? And the final question that should be answered is regarding the area coverage. So, if you're operating in a large area, it is preferred to have multiple devices so that you have redundancies as well as you know backup systems which can come in the air and replace a drone that was already in the air. So this area coverage also comes into play as soon as you start scaling your operations. So, based on the questions that you answer, once you have those answers and you deploy, let's say, one dock at a site, uh, there are we in our experience there are three phases that you need to go through to fully get the full capacity and the full potential out of the system that you have. So the three phases that we have seen are: you start with your foundations, so you set up one or two docks at a particular site and you perform your site assessment. You set up the basic infrastructure which is required for a dock, so this includes electricity, internet, uh, weather sensors, and some safety perimeter around the dock and so on. You then slowly can start performing flights, of course, starting from an observer based flight model and then slowly progressing towards shielded and full BVLOS operations. The key aspect of this stage is to start collecting data, which means mission logs, flight logs, media files, and so on. This will allow you to optimize your operations and then collect sufficient data that can be used by the aviation authorities later on to give compliance certificates or approve your operations for shielded BVLOS or full BVLOS flights. Uh, the second stage of the operation, which this arriving from first to second may take a couple of months, is then once your docks are fully operational, you can then start integrating these docks with other systems that are present on site. So a key integration is with VMS or video management systems, so that the drone and dock video feed is routed to a centralized ROC, where you have video feeds from other cameras and sensors as well. So that integration starts to take place in phase 2, and that is when the drones start to shine as a preventer of events as well as responder to situations once they take place. So the second phase becomes very crucial in that aspect, and that is when the ROI starts showing up. And then as part of phase 3, that's when you can go full scale. You can have consistent missions on site. Your remote operations center can be fully equipped to handle all kind of reactive and proactive situations, and you have sufficient data to go for full BV loss waivers as well. I will now give some instances of real deployments. So let me show an example. So this is a okay. So I hope you can see my screen. So this is a mall in Texas, United States. This is not a real deployment, but I have taken this as an example of what a classic security deployment may look like. So this is a fairly large facility. For reference, I have created an annotation here, which is of an American football field. So you can imagine how big this area is. Here you have parking lots on all four sides of this mall, and you have six entrances and a couple of large roads towards the south and towards the east and west and south of the facility. Uh, so I've created some annotations to show what a site layout might look like here. For example, you have a truck loading bay right here, then car parkings on all four sides. You also have some loading zones. So this mall has four branches: A, B, C, and D, and a central zone. And then you have loading zones which are going to resupply all the stores, restaurants which are present in this mall. So places like these loading zones and then parking lots and then these forested areas around the mall, all these can become vulnerabilities and then lead to events such as break-ins or car thefts or burglary and so on. So and it's also not feasible to install CCTV at every part of this area. General CCTV and sensor coverage would be limited to within the building or out in the near vicinity of the building to prevent any external intrusion attempts. However, the larger area is generally left untouched. So if we go and answer the five questions that we had presented previously, what are the kinds of risks that we would try to reduce here? I can think of reducing break-in attempts. I can think of reducing auto thefts or carjacking incidents, and there are certain organized retail crimes that can also take place at such locations during days like Black Friday. So this could be my answer to my first question of what kind of risks I'm trying to reduce. Based on that, I can then go ahead and think of the second question, which is when these risks are going to peak. Uh, so for break-ins, car theft, these generally happen at night. So I am going to require something which is capable of responding or preventing these incidents at night, which means that I'm going to use drones which are equipped with thermal cameras. And if I need to use any kind of artificial intelligence powered detections, they should also be able to work with thermal cameras. My blind spots are obviously within the parking lots and near the truck bays. So that answers my third question, and that's where my flights or my security missions should focus. And I would preferably want perhaps one drone every 30 minutes in the air to do a perimeter check. And I would like to also perhaps like to have a drone to respond to emergency situations, so that remains in standby at all times. And my final question, if I would like to answer, would be how much area I'm going to cover. So I can start by covering the area which is bounded by these four streets. So two major roads, and then a street that winds around the mall. So this could be my area that I want to cover. So this will include not just the mall and the parking area, but also some area where you have vegetation. And that, so this is how you can assess any particular site, and then based on this, I can think of placing a dock somewhere on the top of A branch, another dock on top of C branch, and perhaps one near the D branch as a backup for responding to emergency situations. The ones on top of A and C branch can be used on a daily basis for perimeter patrols. Alternatively, this could be one possible solution to provide security at this particular site. So once I have selected, I've selected a site, I have selected where I would mount my docks, and I'm using a platform to control those docks. Uh, Generally, these autonomous security workflows require three major elements: visibility, automation, and then intelligence. If I address the visibility aspect, this includes features such as a video wall. So this could be inbuilt within the platform like we have here, or we can have integrations directly with a video management system, which is illustrated here in this image. Uh, Other than this, we can also can share the video feed on a need to know basis with members who are not part of the drone operations, using features such as guest share. uh, Beyond all of this, of course, if AI detection is part of the picture, then having that capability is also important to maintain visibility of all the operators and stakeholders who are part of the security operation. The second element is regarding automation. So, if you are reacting to a situation, then automation becomes pretty important to reduce your reaction time. And to that end, you can have workflows uh, and tap to fly, those kind of features which enable quick dispatch of drone. In case you are providing proactive security, then scheduled missions can be a very powerful tool which can provide frequent coverage at known times of the day. And once any detection or any alert is raised during those proactive or reactive missions, you can also have email alerts as part of your automation workflow. Finally, it's very important that once these operations are done, there is some intelligence that is gathered out of this. So to that end, you can have media files which are time stamped as evidence, and have sufficient metadata to provide you information regarding the drone's position and orientation as well. Using these media, we have features which also allow you to create reports. These could be incident reports or shift reports, which can give you a comprehensive view of what happened during a particular time of the day or during a particular event when that happened. So, with this framework in place, and with the business framework that was mentioned by Deep, I believe a lot of security providers can provide valuable solutions to uh, enterprises across the board. So now I'll hand over the stage to Deep to go through a live scenario demo.
Right. Thank you so much, Rudev, for sharing those operational requirements with us. So let me know once you are able to see my screen. Yeah, guys, is it visible? All right, perfect. So basically, this is the flight-based dashboard. I think quite a few of you might be aware who are using demos. So now you can see that the platform can connect with your alarm sensors, your trigger-based systems like your CCTV cameras, or your video management systems like Genetec or Milestone, which are used globally, and multiple enterprises do use them. So the overall flow is whenever an alert is raised, how fast can the drone respond? Like, because this is the first metric that you guys can calculate while sharing or while showcasing this to any of your customers, which is how fast can the drone actually go and go on site to get that situational awareness. Foot people, like people on ground, they usually, like, the average, if I'm telling the average for a site is close to 2 to 3 minutes. Like that is the average, and it's a global average. Like it's close to 2 minutes whenever something happens on one side or the other side of the area, maybe at night, maybe at day. But how fast can your drone respond to it? So I will just run a scenario by you. You can focus over here and over here. So I am just raising a trigger right now from my phone. So now the trigger is raised. You can see an alarm response shows up over here. The dock is opening. If I click, you can see at 9:03 p.m. An alarm came in, which has been responded to. And now I can go to the cockpit view. I can remove this part. And now you can see in less than 20 seconds, the drone is already in the air. And if you have set the speed of your drone to maximum, you know how fast the drone can fly. Like it can go at a speed of 20 meters per second, which is quite good. And over here, you can see that now it's going to perform a mission. It's going at a height of 110 meters right now, because 110 meters is what like we have as safe altitude. Oh, okay, 120, which is close to 360, 370 feet, by the way. So right now it's flying at a height of 370 feet, and now it's going to the first waypoint. As you can see here, it will cover all these. So the scenario was a trigger came in, and now the drone is already going to perform a perimeter check or a perimeter sweep at a height of 360 feet. In most cases, of course, in most countries, wherever our partners are, you cannot fly at this height. It's usually less than 150 feet where people fly. So overall, you will have a better operational visibility. You will have a better workflow, and you will definitely have a faster rate of response as well, like a faster time to response as well. And then, of course, at all times, whenever you think that now you saw something, now you need to take operational control, you can always stop the drone, you can take that control, and you can fly the drone manually. So right now it's clicking a panoramic image, but I will just let it click like complete this, and then I will take over, so that while it's going to the third waypoint. So yeah, now it's going to the third waypoint. I will just stop the drone now, and I'll take manual control. And now, as you know, I can shift between multiple lenses. I can turn to different, and now you can see the speed at which it's going forward. Yeah. And recently, yeah. And when you can see that, you have seen enough. So this is like a site, a construction site, like where people are manufacturing some stuff, and it's under construction as well. You can always check, click pictures if required, and then you can just call the drone back home, perform RTH to it. So overall, this is quite a simple workflow. Your pilots have visibility. Your like you have visibility. The drone responds at a very fast rate overall. So yeah, this is what I had to share. I think now the drone will come land, of course. And let me just go back to the case study dashboard. Case studies. Yeah. So these are a few case studies that we have, a few companies that we are working with where we have already gone public with them. We have conducted sessions with them. So Premier Security is a big company based out of Michigan. They have deployed our solution for a car manufacturing company. Again, this car manufacturing company is quite big. I think you guys might have guessed it because it's based out of Michigan. They have like a site of more than 1 square mile, and they fly 24 cross 7 without stopping. So overall, and mostly, they need to have a better visibility. Whenever an incident happens, they want to respond at a very fast rate. So this is how these systems are helping them. This is how the systems are complementing the security guards 24 cross 7. Then Dole, I think again you all might know, is a plant like it's a fruit company, so pineapples, bananas. Dole has a farm of 20,000 hectares. Again, this is in Philippines, and you can imagine how big 20,000 hectares is. You can't have CCTV cameras across 20,000 hectares. Now they have deployed more than 20 DJI dogs across that plantation, complementing the security guards. Because and the 20 DJI dogs was a good investment for them, because every single year they lose 5 to 10% of their produce to theft, which equates to close to a 10-15 million dollar loss. So now you can imagine 20 DJI dogs is nothing. Even if they are able to save like a $5 million loss a year, their ROI is already, like, they have already gotten the ROI, right? Then we have another partner based out of Kansas City. They are Titan Security. We have been working with them quite closely since the past 3 years. 3 to 4 years. That is when the CEO reached out to us first. And now we have deployed the same solution with them at multiple sites. So again, it takes time. They have a nationwide waiver, a nationwide beyond visual line of sight waiver. So again, it takes time to build these, business models internally. Time to hire the right people while you want to build this business model, and it takes time definitely for regulatory approvals and selling it to the first customer. Because once you have got that, you can of course get the case study out of them, and then showcase the ROI and the quantification of the metrics to your other customers on how this is going to be a good approach. So yeah, this is all Rudrev and I had to share today. Then a few things, some must-haves. I think Rudrev will take this over again, and he will share all these must-haves with you. So yeah.
Thank you, Deep. Sure. So one of the must-haves is regarding data security. Of course, during security operations, the data that is being collected or the sites that are being looked at, they're all of very sensitive nature to the end customers and to the users. So uh, ensuring that whatever solution is being used to uh, provide security should also comply with the data security laws and provisions of the country concerned. So to that end, we provide different deployment models. So cloud, of course, Flightbase as a platform is a cloud-based platform, but we also have air-gapped deployment options, which are fully independent of internet. So no internet required whatsoever for any kind of operation. In-country cloud is also available. So Flightbase can be deployed within AWS or Google Cloud instance, which is limited to a geographical, country or a group of nations. And then on-premise deployments are closer to air-gapped, where certain functions are internet dependent, but the overall ownership of the deployment infrastructure is maintained by the end customer or the service provider. So this ensures that data security is taken into account while providing flexibility and a leading class in its class, kind of a platform for autonomous drone operations. Uh, the next important aspect for any platform is having the ability to be hardware agnostic, because right now there is no one drone, one size fit all drone solution out there which does everything. However, some solutions have come close, but there's still plenty of room for different kinds of airframes and different kinds of devices to do security operations at any particular site. So for long distance operations, you might prefer a VTOL or fixed wing drones, and then for operations which are of a limited area, quadcopters like the ones that you see on screen prove more useful. But having this ability to being able to have all the hardware on a single platform and being able to manage your fleet from a single platform is important. Not only that, there are a lot of sensors and other, uh, you know, uh, equipment at play, which also needs to work together. So have integrating all of that and then getting signal from all of that to a centralized platform is important, and that is again something that we are trying to do on our end. So we have been able to integrate with 15 docking stations. Some of them are visible here in the image, and signals from security cameras, IoT sensors are all the a lot of them can be routed to Flightbase for alarms and then associated automated workflows. And as soon as any drone dock system is deployed at a site, uh, very soon, and we discussed this earlier as well during the phased deployment model. As soon as you get into phase two, as soon as you start to scale up your flights and operations, you start running into problems with integrations. You need to work with other systems which are existing on the site, and that is where again Flightbase can help by providing integrations with a lot of different platforms and services which are available. And these could be in the categories of data processing, live streaming, alarms, missions and logging facilities, detect and avoid sensors, or uncrewed traffic management platforms. So information from all these various platforms can be routed into Flightbase, or Flightbase can send information to these platforms depending on the nature of the integration. So that is also something that security providers should consider during their planning of operations. Uh, I think that's all from our side for today. We are happy to take any questions that you may have. So Deep and I are Yeah, we are both here to answer any questions that you have. Thank you.
Yep. So I think we already have a few questions come in the Q&A chat. So I will just take up the first question from Joseph Davis. So, like, should I assume the full stack security option allows you to make situational awareness paramount to deployment strategies? So, honestly, like, situational awareness is absolutely critical, but it is not dependent on the full stack. Like, full stack gives you more control over the hardware, the workflows, and the operations that you are giving the customer. So it just means that you can standardize situational awareness across all customers, because now you are the one who owns the hardware, and it basically benefits for the customer because they are. I think there might be an echo. Yeah. So it is best for the customer because instead of spending on capital, now they are spending on operational expense. And now they are basically on a subscription-based model, directly working with you closely. So that is the major benefit. Um, Apart from this, if you have any other question, like if I have not answered your question completely, Joseph, please type in. I will be, more than happy to help you. I think Jack had a question which is already been answered. So we are planning to get the native DJI Dock 3 AI functions somewhere around January to February. That's the plan that we have for now. Then we have a question from Anthony, which says, for residential areas or where privacy could be a concern, is it possible to create an augmented reality overlay in the video feed that doesn't allow observation into windows during the patrol? So, Rudrev, I think you might be the best person to answer this.
Sure. So right now that is not natively available, but what can be done is we can route that video feed from drones to any platform or service that can provide this overlay. In the long term, of course, we can develop this in-house as well if required.
Amazing. Now we have another question from Chase. If we have ground-based personnel equipped with drones, can they manually launch them and then the ROC take control utilizing flight-based flight controller? So definitely yes. The demo that we showed you right now, it was done from an iPhone where I created a shortcut. Once I click on that shortcut, it sends a trigger to flight base, which automatically triggers a mission. Similarly, you can create another shortcut, like the foot soldiers can create another shortcut where they can basically the drone can fetch their location, and that location comes onto flight base. Whenever flight base receives an alert or whenever the drone takes off, the ROC people or the operators who are in charge of operating that particular drone and dock get notified via email or SMS, and there's a sound trigger on flight base as well, and then they can take control remotely. So all of this is definitely possible. Uh, does We have another question from Anthony, which is, does your platform incorporate weather stations installed at or near sites? So DJI Dock comes with its own weather station, but definitely if that's a requirement, like if you want us to integrate with other weather stations, you will have to specify exactly which one I'm talking about right now. But we do incorporate, if we are able to fetch data from them, then not a problem. We can show you the data on FlightBase. Yeah. So we have another question from Myro, which is, sometimes maintenance people should not see the collected data when on-premise installation. Is this feature available already on FlightBase? I will ask Rudrev to take this up.
Sure. So, using flight-based role-based access control, you can prevent or you can categorize different people from the organization into different sites and give them a role of user. This will allow you to isolate people who should not see data from the people who are handling drones on a daily basis. So, this is available.
Great. Now we have another question from Anthony, which is: does flight-based track maintenance information for the fleet, battery status, hours? So I would like to answer that as a yes. We have a complete maintenance dashboard where you can check the battery cycle count, how many flights has the drone performed overall, what's the health status. We have another diagnostics dashboard as well, where if you are able to see, or if the drone and dock send you any alert, you can see that over there. It also has a segmentation of severity. So like if it's a critical alert or if it's a normal alert or it's just a warning. And then if it's a critical alert and if you raise it with us and we need to look more into it, you can directly fetch logs, device logs from off the drone and the dock directly from flight base. So overall, we give you a complete structure and control over your drone and dock. If Rudrev has to add anything, you can do that. I think I've answered most of it, but if you have anything, please add, Rudrev.
And I think that pretty much answers the question. Yes.
Awesome. So we have another question from Eric. In case of emergency, does the drone from the example M4TD or software showed includes a DA system, detection and avoidance system? So yes, the answer is yes. If you have these systems like Dronavia or Kasia or UAS Sentry or Drone Tag Scout. These are a few popular ones in the market right now. So, or maybe D-Drone. So, if you have these systems already in place, we have an integration with them. We can fetch data from these systems. The Kasia G systems is a camera-based systems. There are other radar-based systems as well, which give you idea of a particular radius, like exactly what is happening, like what's the situation in that particular airspace within that radius. So we can integrate with those systems, and if and when an aircraft enters that airspace, you get sounds, you get a sound notification on flight base, and it keeps on constantly popping up on your dashboard. And then there's a function, like a feature known as GTSA within flight base. So GTSA means go to safe altitude. Once you click that, the drone will come down to a safer altitude because there's now like an aircraft, and then once that is done, you can ask the drone to perform the mission that it was supposed to perform. So yes, I think I've answered that question. I think the question from Myro is already answered again. Uh, Thanks to give contact for future. Awesome. Yeah, so I think we have another question from Chase, which is: I understand that on the ground, personnel can request a dog-based drone respond to their location. But if we have remote operations that do not have dogs installed, only 5G capable drones, can the ROC take control of that drone and fly it remotely without any further input from the ground units? Rudrev will be the best person to answer.
Sure. So this depends on the kind of drone that is being used. As we mentioned, we are hardware agnostic. So depends on how much integration this particular drone's OEM allows with FlightBase. That would be the first point. The second point would, of course, be the regulations. In a lot of places, the drones are still controlled by people who are on site. However, from our end, I can speak specifically for DJI drones. For DJI Enterprise drones, we can provide video stream telemetry and flight log data on the dashboard as part of our fleet view. For other devices, the ability to control or to observe will depend on the kind of integration or the depth of integration that is possible, and then of course at the on the local laws and regulations.
Awesome. So I think, Chase, we have answered your question. Myro has an extended question, which is about the data limitation, about the limitation of seeing recorded data. So if I am the maintainer and owner of the doc and government agency is using it, I possibly have full access to all data. Sometimes contracts highly depend on that feature. So I think again, Rudrev would be the best person to answer. Uh,
So for if you are using the cloud platform, in that case, there is data, data isolation. So anybody who's not part of the organization will not have access to that data. In case of on-premises, again, if the installation is done on the government's infrastructure, even though the dock is owned by you, if the government is operating it using a flight-based instance installed in their data center, for example, then as long as you don't have access to that installation, you will not have access to the data either, whether from front end or back end.
awesome. So I think we are done with all the questions that we had for now. And yeah, I would just like to, thank everyone who is still watching the webinar, who joined this. And definitely, we will be sharing the recording of the webinar with all of you, and we will share the presentation as well, so that you guys can look upon all the stuff that we have told you about. It's not an overnight journey. This will take time if you are trying to start a remote operation center and hire pilots, get the BVLOS waiver, build a business model out of it to complement the security guards. But again, it's a journey. We are in this together. Please reach out to us if you have any other questions. My email ID is deep.gupta, which is my name, like deep.gupta at flightbase.com, and Rudrev's email ID is rudrev.dave at flightbase.com. So again, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for joining in. Have a nice one. It's about 9:30 p.m. in India, so I think we'll just go out and sleep. Have a good one. Bye bye.